So, hi guys, welcome to our first meeting of the big three, and we're just gonna have some fun. I'm Jen McClure. I'm gonna be talking about some mental wellness things, recording, and I'll launch right in. Good. We have some good folks in the room, and for those of you on Zoom, I will make sure that you get their contact information as well because we've been having a blast, and they're all high quality, others focused. Genuinely good humans, and you need to meet all of them. So stay tuned. We'll add that info as well for you. All right, so launching in. You ready? Okay. This is gonna be really real. So interesting. I was working on my presentation last night because I am what we call neurodivergent. So if you know anything about ADHD, I'm about at the top of the scale with that, which is lovely in some ways. It makes me very creative. I'm able to think on my feet. However, I also really have to prepare. So when people say, "Oh, you can just wing it," I'm like, I could. That would not be my A game. So, hi. So great. That would not be my A game. So I always come prepared. There you go. So I was preparing last night, and I'm going to share with you a little bit from my book, Wisdom from the Wilderness, and deciding what parts to share. I'm reading the book and crying. I'm like, you have got to be kidding. And so the short version is I had a mental breakdown, complete mental breakdown in 2014. And I was like that in the pit of despair for 4 years. So we're in 2024 at this point. So I'm, some years on the other side of that. And now I even coach people, and I have been in some training myself with Dr. Shannon Irvin, who's a neuroscientist. And like, oh, it's so good. I'm taking care of my body and it's all the things. And I look at that book and I'm like, I mean, it really was that devastating, which just really reinforced my passion to try and help people who are there or maybe on the path to being there. Because if I can help one person not have that story, you get impact for generations. When I think about the 4 years that I did not have a functional marriage, 4 years that I missed my grandchildren, 4 years that I gained 120 pounds and lost my health, 4 years that a thriving business went away. Because if you, I was a Mary Kay, and if you do not call your customers for 4 years, they have to wash their face. they will find somebody else, and they should. Anywho, and that's what I'm super passionate about launching this. And thank you all for being on the front end of receiving this information and being so kind and generous with your affirmation for what I'm doing. So I'm going to open with a story. And I would like to keep my time to about 20 minutes so our other presenters are good. So Kim, Dawn, the other one, if you could give me 5 and then 10 and then 15, just so I'm respectful of everyone's time. Perfect. I do want a long time for Q&A as well. So I'm gonna open with a little story. Are you ready? So I've been married for 34 years, and we have date night. Well, we also have children and grandchildren and a big dog that eats lots of food and a brand new mortgage. So we have a lot of expenses in life. And anytime somebody gives us a gift card, we're like, we can actually go out and have a date. Yes. So so that is the story that's setting up my first story for you. So we have this gift card for Outback Steakhouse. Raise your hand if you like Outback Steakhouse. Blooming onions. All day, every day. But like my health coach is in the bag going, stop talking. Stop talking. Anyhow, I do like a blooming onion every once in a while. So we get a gift card to Outback Steakhouse. I'm so excited. And we're like, hi. And we were sitting down and we walk in, we're like, we're here, we're having a day. Other people are paying for it. Like it's all the things. So good. And we're having our little thing. And we're like, oh, so good. And I look at David, I'm like, I'm so happy we're here. Date night is so fun. I was like, but isn't it so weird that they don't call us a bloomin' onion anymore? And it was called like a cactus something. And Dave goes, oh yeah, that's at Outback Steakhouse. Right. Which is where we're supposed to be because that's where the gift card is for. Well, he plugged it into our GPS, and guess what's in the same complex with Outback Steakhouse? Texas Roadhouse. And they have an onion thing that is not a bloomin' onion, and they don't care that you have a gift card for somewhere else. Right? So great. That was a really interesting thing. Anywho, but what I want to say about that is that sometimes we end up somewhere we weren't expecting. And that's exactly what happened to me. And in that case, in my case, it wasn't funny at all. I'm going to read you a little bit from chapter 3 of my book. Try and hold this together a little bit. I don't know the actual physiology of a nervous breakdown, but I can tell you how it felt to me. I just broke. I didn't cry or scream. I didn't do anything. I didn't feel anything. It seems counterintuitive that nothing can be a feeling, but that is the best way I can explain it. I sank into the abyss of nothing and disappeared. I felt disconnected from my own body, and my skin felt weird and clammy. It was as though my nerves had snapped. They were short circuiting and tingly. My breathing got shallow, my chest was tight, and I shook most of the time. It was like drowning underwater. When I looked around, it was if I was seeing people on the other side of my watery casket, and everybody was moving in slow motion. I could see them, but somehow I was absolutely separated from them. All the while, I was aware that they are not sensing the same disconnection, so I had to try and pretend to be functioning, present but not present. Conversation was exhausting. It took every ounce of my strength and concentration to focus on what others were saying. I couldn't remember the names of people that I'd known for years. I could barely put two sentences together and could not recall what people just said to me. Pretty quickly, it became easier just to not look around at all. I didn't make a deliberate decision to stop trying. I was truly incapable. I couldn't make the simplest decisions. I had been a successful business owner, stage performer, and teacher for decades. And now I was having a panic attack at the thought of going to the store or answering the phone. I started wearing sweatshirts so I could pull up my hood and hide. I closed my eyes and gave up, sinking under the waves. Who I used to be was snuffed out, and my eyes went vacant and dim. My body was still here, but my soul was gone. Whoever, oh, whoever expects to be there. How does that happen? So, what I'd like you to do is we're going to take a little survey real quickly. And if you would just close your eyes, everybody in the room. I'm going to have you, I'm going to read some statements. And when I say one that applies to you, I want you to raise your hand. And this is a no judgment zone. Everybody's eyes are closed. Number one, sometimes I feel, and when it's up, leave it up. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough. I have people in my life who are abusive, not supportive, and do not see my greatness. I worry about my relationships, my kids, or my finances. Number five, I have experienced a health crisis or a faith crisis. Number six, I struggle with grieving the loss of a loved one. Number seven, I struggle with my weight or my self-image. Number eight, I carry around trauma from childhood. Number 9, there are not enough hours in the day to get everything done. Number 10, I'm in a life transition and I just feel alone. Now open your eyes and look around. And my point, friends, is everybody has a story. Everybody. And that is why empowering each other is so important. Life is tough and it's tougher if you feel alone. We really do need each other and we're stronger together. Um, we don't know each other well, and I feel infinitely blessed that y'all were willing to play along just now. Thank you. My name is Jen. I already introduced myself, and I am someone thriving on the other side of breakdown and living what I consider my chapter 2 life. And I do love the Lord, and I believe that there are spiritual lessons in things. And my Bible says, what the enemy intended for evil, he is able to leverage for good. And that is what chapter 2 wisdom is all about. I am here today. Thanks to the grace of God, good counselors, good doctors, a great recovery program, and thanks to the great support of people that didn't give up on me when I gave them no reason to continue to hope that I would ever get better. I have 2 topics that I'd like to address real quickly. How to support others, because we are stronger together. And there you go. And secondly, how to get strong in your own soul. I looked at this presentation. I'm like, this is kind of like mental wellness coaching light, but it's okay. It'll give you kind of a taste of where I'm coming from. And at the end, I will tell you future ways that you can connect with me as well. So 10 tips to empower those in your life. You ready? Number 1, always live by the golden rule. Put yourself in their shoes and imagine how they might be feeling right now. Number 2, understand that we are all doing the best we can with what we have. I love that because you just never know when you might be the life raft for someone. And if we perceive people through the lens of criticalness or judgment or assumptions, we may be missing some really we may be missing the opportunity to help people. Number 3, always speak with grace and kindness. Number 4, refuse to gossip, shut out negativity. This will help support those in your life and be good for your soul as well. That's a really good discipline. Number 5, go the extra mile, send encouraging notes. Amy Knight walked in here and gave me a present. I don't know what it is, but it was so sweet that she thought of me. Number 6, see a need and fill it. Sometimes something as simple as a hot meal or offering to watch someone's kids can make all the difference. You never know what's going on in someone's home, right? Number 7, listen and speak to understand, and then ask people if they actually want your advice. Because they might not. They might just need a sounding board. Number 8, understand that developing authentic, vulnerable friendships take time, effort, and trust. Do your best to be a true friend to those in your life. Number 9, if needed, feel your feels, address conflicts calmly, and forgive quickly. We have a situation in our life right now where there's some people that are very precious to us, and there is a need for a lot of forgiveness on all fronts. And I was sharing with someone recently that if you choose to not forgive, I want you to envision yourself walking around with baggage, luggage. When I healed from my season of depression, I had stuff that was 40 years old that I had never forgiven. So if you're carrying this big suitcase of whatever trauma, injustice, and I'm not going to downplay those things because those are real and we all have them and they're absolutely wrong. Nobody should have to go through some of the things that y'all have gone through. But if you carry that baggage and then 6 months later, someone else offends you, Oh, now you're carrying 2 suitcases. How many suitcases do you want to carry? And how many years do you want to carry them? If offenses and disappointments just get piled on top of each other, eventually you get buried if you do not have an open heart to forgive and let those things go. I know, because I got buried. I get it. What number am I even on? All right. Number 10. The people in your life, invite them to spend time with you. I am a I'm a huge fan of a glass of wine, a walk outside if needed. Petties. Andrew, you don't have to get petty, but for the women on the you do, yeah, all right. Awesome.
I'm totally fine with
I am overdue for a petty, so now I might just cry again. Oh my gosh. There you go. Bonus tip: give lots of sincere compliments. It costs you nothing, but it goes a long way towards shutting down the voice of the inner critic that plagues most of us. Good. 10 tips to get strong in your own soul and lift yourself up. Take care of your body. Get adequate rest, hydrate, good foods, movement. I'm so glad we have Kim Lenga up next. Number 2, vigilantly guard who and what gets access to your soul. Not all people are your people, and toxic people are nobody's people. Number 3, remember that no is a complete sentence. Creating healthy boundaries around your time, energy, and resources is not easy, but it is vital if you want to be strong in your soul and live a life that you will love and is sustainable. Number 4, make sure that what you put in your mind actually lines up with your values. Oh my gosh. You guys, the world is a dumpster fire. Do not get sucked into that Facebook scroll. Like, I look at stuff on there sometimes, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna pray for those people because you're obviously really mad about like everything. And it makes me so sad. Anywho, what you put in your mind actually lines up with your values. That includes the books that you read, social media, all of it, your entertainment. Number 5, take good care of your environment. Particularly as women, we feel like our homes are an extension of us. If your home is chaos, give yourself permission, time, and space to handle it. It will make you feel more peaceful. Number 6, live with gratitude and always believe that things happen for a reason. Even if okay, 2 seconds. I'm having a little challenge. Are we recording? We are. Okay, good. Number 6, live with gratitude and always believe that things happen for a reason. Even if they really stink, you are still breathing, which means that it's a new day and there's still hope. Number 7, be open-hearted. You never know when you will find someone who is destined to become your good friend. Yes, I'm looking at you. Number 8, take personal responsibility for being a good human, and equally true, understand that you are not responsible for how others receive or don't receive it. You're only in charge of you. Number 9, if you are struggling emotionally, don't be afraid to reach out for help to a faith community, counselor, professional doctor, somebody. Number 10, get up, get showered, bring your A game because the world desperately needs people who will spread some light and hope. In closing, I want to read you chapter 12 from my book. Closing thoughts. For me, the wilderness was not a place at all. It was inside me. How ironic that in nature, the wilderness is where wild things live. But in my wilderness, it was a place where tame things dwelt within me. There are things Those are the things that are subdued by fear and lulled into complacency and hopelessness. Now that I've emerged, I am a little wild again, as in dancing, singing, laughing with irrepressible, unbridled joy. I am walking, no running, in new freedom. Surviving chapter 1 taught me to be brave. Since that season didn't kill me, I can rise up and do hard things, and you can too. It gave me great clarity. While it's not a journey I would have chosen, a lot of good came from it. In the end, I'm choosing to be thankful. I am one of the blessed ones who make it through. The truth is, not everybody gets a chapter 2, and I feel the weight of that. I wake up every day thankful that I get another day. I find it curious that, like the Old Testament children of Israel, my wandering lasted about 40 years. I started closing down my heart at age 15, and now I'm 59. Moreover, when I chronicled the series of trauma and healing over the last 4 decades, I find precisely 10-year gaps when the enemy attacked and tried to silence my voice. Sometimes it was my music and sometimes speaking. Yes, there was even a season when he leveraged my love of music against me, a figure. If he worked this hard to shut me up, maybe my words really do matter. Being really real, my biggest fear in life is this. What if God gave me a second chance to do something great that really matters and I miss it? What if I miss it? My friends, since we're reading these words, I hope I haven't missed it. Whatever your story looks like today, don't give up. Your victory is coming. Birthing something new is always messy. What if there's something great? What if there's great beauty on the other side of your mess, just waiting to be born? What if your biggest test is actually the biggest conduit for the biggest outpouring of God's favor? Don't be deceived. Thieves do not break into empty storehouses. There's a lot of valuable stuff in you and a high calling in your life. Once you've made it through your wilderness, don't forget where you came from. But far more important is where you headed. You have been delivered on purpose for a person. Decide you're going to live, then live out loud. I'm cheering for you. Thanks for your time. Um, so I am we do have books as part of attending today. One of our thank you gifts for you is that y'all get a signed copy of Wisdom from the Wilderness. Yeah, thanks, Modern Woodmen. And I am taking on private clients right now, mental wellness, getting launching into that. And I'm also doing a mental wellness challenge starting in January, and that will be my first run at something like that. So you're all invited to connect with me as well on that. Do we have a minute for questions? If anybody has some?
I don't have a question, but I'm Jen's first mental wellness person. I had a year. It's just been a year, and I was heading down her path that she took so many years ago. And grace of God we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Put me in touch with her.
6 years.
6 years.
When I came back out, so we got connected.
Back in America, and I was starting with you, so my Woodmen. But yeah, I just had a very horrible year, and she's going through all the questions. I'm like, okay, I'm there now. Okay, so a few more steps to go. Well, big steps, but she's been amazing. Pulling out things from my baggage. We discovered how much baggage I had from childhood. Lost my best friend at 8 years old. I'm gonna cry now. Yeah,
there's Kleenex everywhere. It's so great. Kleenex.
And I lost my grandson at 22 weeks one day this year. That was in the midst of a lot of things that were going on. So if you or anybody you know just want to touch base with her, or just like need a touch up, or you're down kind of where she was or where I was heading, she's amazing. We used to weekly phone calls and lots of homework. So
yes.
I had to take a pause. My homework this time was really hard. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's just amazing. So I
thank you.
Recommend her. Like I've come a long ways to go.
Thank you. Yeah, so don't call me for mental wellness coaching unless you're prepared to do some work. But it'll be worth it.
Yeah, this is the first time I've been to say, I've not done all that homework.
Yeah. I am so proud of you. And thank you for sharing. I did not want to tell your business, obviously. So thank you for being willing to share on it.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that, sharing your story. And I just had a complete, like, when you talked about how the wilderness wasn't where the wild things were, but the tame. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, what an insight. And it makes me think differently about the safety. And I know that I personally try to keep myself in, and where am I keeping myself? You know, maybe
So proud of you.
Maybe I need a little while.
That's an important new thought. In the book, I actually talk about one of my former students who wanted to be a police officer in New York. And and we talked, I said, oh my gosh, isn't that so dangerous? And she said, if that's God's will for me, going anywhere else would be dangerous.
God.
Right?
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. And I'm gonna turn the floor over to my friend Kim Lenga, who's gonna talk about, and that was a little mental wellness tips for you. And Kim's gonna talk about wellness in your body. And I will set the stage for you is that Kim is my health coach and has completely changed my life with some things as well. So super thankful to be sharing the floor with her today. Be right here because it's a really good angle and all the things.
It's a really good angle.
And I'm gonna sit in the back and take notes.
Got one of those American Dream babies on the way.
Oh.
Thank you.
Getting situated. We're getting situated. So hold on.
Hey, Kim, you better not make me cry. He's gonna have to.
They're gonna be
I may not, but I will tell you, and just being totally honest, I have something prepared, and it's about the physical aspect of why you need to be healthy and why it matters. But I also am going to pivot a little bit based on some of the things that we heard. So what I have written and what I say are maybe two completely different things, but that's what we do here.
We're giving out presents, more presents.
Almost done. This is the pause, the intermission right here, the intermission.
I could sing and dance.
Go get it. Go. Celebrate. Have fun with the house.
I will.
Okay.
All right, so I'm not going to make you cry. My name is Kim Lenga. I don't think I'm going to make you cry. I am the owner of Emerge Fitness, and there's a couple of things that stood out to me when Jen was talking and when she was reading things about how you're going to emerge. And I thought, that's my name. Emerge Fitness. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story, how the company came to be, and why. So Emerge Fitness was a brainchild of mine in about 2017, and I found a need. So I'm about providing solutions for people. But let's back up. I started in fitness at the age of 17. I'm a year younger than Jen, so I'll be 59 next year. So in a couple more years, I'll be celebrating 62, right? But I will be 59. And when I was 17, I began teaching fitness classes, and I fell in love. Now you were talking about the 80s, and that's when group fitness was the thing. That's where, I mean, that was everything, right? I mean, you hung out at the clubs. You can go back to Big Tanny and all the big clubs back then.
Oh
they don't exist. That was me. So the choreographed routines, that was me. Step aerobics, I was doing that before step came out. So, I grew up with that. I ended up teaching classes as I went through college. I was 17, graduated, taught myself through college. I continued to teach classes And I come from a family of entrepreneurs. And I remember my older sister, she's 13 years older than me. She said, Kimberly, do yourself a favor, get a job, go to school, get a job, work for somebody else, because you won't have all the headache and the responsibility. You will get all of your benefits. You can work your 9 to 5. You can get a great pension, work for somebody else, because when you're a business owner, it's 24/7 all the time. And I thought, okay. And I'm the only one in my family that went to college and got the degree. And then I went on for my master's. And I did not want to, sent with love, she has a little thing flashing up. I did not really want to go to school. And I thought, okay, I'll go for 2 years. And I lived with my aunt. And she said, you should really consider taking classes at transfer, because you never know. You might want to go on. And I did. I went on. And then I went on and on. So I ended up getting a master's in business. But the whole time I went to school, I was teaching fitness classes. And so I was, corporate by day, fitness by night. So fast forward, what I'm doing today is exactly what I've always wanted to do. I didn't have the nerve to do it, and I really thought I was doing the safe route. I probably work longer hours than my corporate husband. And he says, but you love every single day of work. You love your job, and he can see the passion in me. It just not work for me, because you're changing people's lives. So I met my husband in the corporate life. We have 2 wonderful boys. My youngest son, he was a bun. What was a bun? My youngest son, see, I told you I will not make you cry. I'll make you laugh. What comes out is what comes out. My youngest son was born with a congenital leg disorder, and that basically he had a short left leg. So my husband and I were faced with the decision: you can amputate, or you can have him undergo limb lengthening surgeries. And these are pretty aggressive surgeries. You actually cut the leg, femur, and we stretch it just like braces. And it's not an overnight process. I moved out of state for this. We found the best surgeon in the world, because we said we only want the best for him, to give him the ability to walk with his own 2 feet on the ground. So I moved out of state. Well, my husband stayed here with our oldest. So we had this disrupted, marriage. And that went on for 18 years of my son's life, from infancy. He had his first surgery at age 1, his second total hip reconstruction at age 2.5. And then finals throughout the year was 18 when he went off to college, and he's like, I want all my hardware removed. He wanted to erase that whole history. So I lived my life in and out of hospitals, physical therapy rooms, doctors. I left Ford in 2009. So I worked for a Ford Motor Company for 20 years. I got vested, took the money and ran. And I thought, I have to do something. I'm now a caregiver, but I have to do something. So that's when I got back into fitness. So how this all began is I found myself seeking food and comfort, living my life in and out of hospitals, physical therapy rooms. I was the Costco mom, right? We bought everything in bulk and convenience. I had 2 boys. You didn't have time to eat. Didn't have time. I mean, it would drive through. That's just what we did, right? Everything was fast. And when I got back into fitness, I thought, you don't look the role. You're not advocating. You don't look like what you're advocating, right? It's like you couldn't see a bicep on me if I tried. So I thought I had to go to work for me. So I tried several different things, and I studied food and nutrition until I figured out some things. And I'll share a little bit more about that. So in 2017 is when my business formed, and I worked with somebody, business consultant. And after hearing my story, my encouragement to people that are going through challenges, right? Because we all do. We all have stories. And I have many more legs of this story that I haven't shared, because the impact of going through our son's surgeries, that does impact your marriage. It impacted the whole family. We're living disjointed, right? So there's a lot of things that go on. And it's like, how can I encourage you to emerge strong when life happens, when you're hit with adversity? And that's where the name came from. It's like emerge. So it's Emerge Fitness. It has the butterfly, because you're going to go through many metamorphoses on your journey. So that's how it began. Now, we also have the hashtag Emerge Strong, because my husband and sons don't like doing the butterfly. So they get hashtag Emerge Strong. So they wear those shirts, and we have Emerge Fitness. So what I want to talk to you about, that's my story, and that was long, but I just wanted you to understand that we all have stories, we all have journeys. And it impacts many different ways. But what I discovered through that is I can't pour from an empty cup. And I was giving everything to my son and trying to be everything to everybody. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I knew that I had to pour into myself, get myself right. So we are a very fluffy family. I'll tell you that. My oldest son was 13 and he said, Mom, I want to join Jenny Craig. And that was like a big like slap because he didn't know what I knew. He didn't know I had all this experience and background in health and fitness. And that was when I thought, okay, Mom, it was a hard look at myself. And that's what really fast tracked me back into figuring this all out. Again, because I wanted to serve my son. And I tell you what, he is a physical therapist. He just turned 28. He is a personal trainer and he looks amazing, but he hid from people. I will tell you that. So when he was 13 and 14, he would wear all black. Every picture of him, my goodness, he's not smiling. He's very uncomfortable with himself and very unhappy. And that's just something that happens when you don't feel good about yourself. And then my youngest son, when he went off to college, he he found himself, he had left the fat farm, right? Because by this time I've already transitioned and my whole house is healthy. And he thought, yeah, this is great. I can have, pizza and pop and soda. And he gained the freshman, I don't know what, it wasn't 15, it was multiplied. So he came back very, very heavy. And again, his insecurities with himself, he felt really bad about himself. And my whole thought was, financial person, we paid $1 million for your leg and you take care of your body, please, you work so hard. And it was a conversation that I had to have with him. And you're going to love your son and your kids unconditionally. But it was like, I had to look at him and just say, you have to love yourself enough to change. You know what I do. You know what we can do, but you have to love yourself. You have to have a purpose. And I will say my son has lost over 100 pounds and his transformation is freaking amazing. So again, we came from a fluffy family, right? But it was all based on what I had set up. So what I'm going to talk about and what I was going to talk about was about the importance of exercise. And why is that important? Why is it important that we keep moving? Well, for many of the reasons that I was saying, right? Because with all of that, confidence comes. But another part of my story, and this was just very recent, is my mother, who's 93. She is the epitome of health. She inspires me every day. And I find it so amazing. And her whole theory is you have to keep moving, because if you don't move it, you're going to lose it. And when I started teaching at the age of 17, when I spoke to people about working out, it had a different meaning. It was because you wanted to look good. You were young. I want to look good. Now it's about function. So when I teach my clients, it's like, I want you to be around Jen for your grandkids. Okay. I have a client that she had an incredible before and after. I'm like, what is your purpose? What is your why? I need to understand, because you have to be ready for that. It's a mental thing to make this switch. And she said, I have my first grandson and I want to be able to get to the dogfish before he does. I'm like, bam, that's your purpose. So my speak is a lot different. So if we're getting down and doing burpees or push-ups, I really have to have them visualize you're doing that because you want to be able to get down on the floor and play with your grandkids. That's the audience that I'm looking at. I mean, I have younger kids, but they're young guns and their beliefs are, they're at the point that they want to look good. They can't relate to the part where, my son just got married in October. I want to be around for the grandkids. I want to have the energy. So it's about functional fitness. It's about functional health. It's about functional training. So you are going to age, and it's a biological age. So the numbers not going to change. Sorry, Jen, you're going to be 60 and that's it. But how you age is different. So as you age, you're going to lose flexibility. You're going to lose muscle mass. You're going to have a lot of chronic illnesses and diseases that are going to come up. That's just a part of it. We can't stop that necessarily. We can prevent it or slow it down. And that's where it comes into, you have to keep moving, you have to keep active. So when we're thinking about things, and my mother just fell 3 weeks ago, and she broke her arm severely. And it's absolutely just killing me to see her in this condition because, again, being 93, she's amazing. But what I notice is we're trying to teach her like to get up, right? She has a broken arm, she can't use it, and it's so inflamed. And how do you get up with one arm? She's 93.
Hmm.
And I'm grabbing onto her arm and I'm like, Mom, plant your feet, use those legs, use those legs. This is why my son, JT, this is why he has you do those squats, Mom. This is why you have to be able to get up. And she's lifting herself up. So the functional training is, again, you need it because you're losing muscle mass, you're losing flexibility, all of that. That's going to happen. Sorry, it's true. But the point is, when you are faced with these adversities, how is she going to emerge strong? And it really is about, I'm watching her walk more because she's doing a lot of working out and exercising. You need that strength. So again, I want you to think about in terms of exercise. This is a daily task that you should really be thinking out, and it can be small, it can be little bits and pieces. You don't have to spend hours in the gym. That's not it, but you do have to do something. Don't think about sculpting. Don't think about physical physique competitions, all of that stuff. That's not the age genre that I'm looking at anymore. We all want to look good, but really think about it from a functional standpoint, because starting with the age of 30, you start to lose muscle. Okay. And you lose about 3 to 8% every single decade. So if we do the math, past 30, we're 3 decades past that, Jen, right? So if we take an average, that's 15% of muscle mass that we're losing. So take that into account. So you wanna keep working out and building. The best way to do that is keep moving, lifting weights, whatever that is. Could be your body. That's a weight, right? Think about it. Whatever you weigh, if you're squatting it, that's what you start with. So that's the importance of this. And here's, I'll take it to there, and then I'm gonna take you down another trail. But a couple of things that just told you why it's crucial to stay active, right? You have your cardiovascular health. It's going to help you maintain healthy weight, and that's really important. Again, not from the physical aspect, but you just have more energy. You feel better. You have lighter weight, right? I mean, my son now that lost 100 pounds, man, he's like a rock star in the gym. Prior to that, who wants to go to a gym when you feel so bad and you have that extra weight? It reduces the risk of chronic disease. And we're talking about diabetes, heart disease, right? All of that. It boosts it's sheer endorphins. I love working out. Sometimes it's hard to get started, but man, my endorphins get flowing and I feel great, right? So you think about that. And, I talked to you about a little bit of the functional types of workouts. Think about things that are just sitting down and up in a chair, walking up and down stairs, lunges. These are all things that are going to mimic what you're going to do functionally every single day. Even if they're arm races, right? You have to put things up on a shelf and get things down. My mom is seeing that right now, right? She's going to have to start to learn to use this left arm all over again. So think about these things. You're talking about function. It doesn't have to be dramatic CrossFit gym. You don't have to climb mountains. Think about things that are functional, that are going to keep you moving. So it improves the ability for you to live out your lifestyle. Actually, this is a picture of the gal that said, her before and after. She just wanted to get on the floor, and I don't know if you can see that. She's driving. I shouldn't show that. She goes off the road. So here's the common challenges that we face. People are too busy, right? They don't have the time, and when they do have the time, they don't have the motivation, or they don't have the resources. And I can tell you, I have a plethora of resources, right? I mean, I have YouTube channels, I have apps, I have all of that I can give to people. But the strategies that I would have you do is put yourself first. So you with your mental health challenge, that's amazing. I'm doing Healthy Through the Holidays right now. And you would think that it would be about diet, weight loss, all of that, Healthy Through the Holidays. And what I put together for 6 weeks was just showing up for yourself. And one of the activities was listening to a podcast. One was giving somebody a compliment. Another one was taking a bath. Then another one was like a 5-minute workout that I would throw in there. So we had spatterings of workouts in there, but really it was about showing up for yourself. And if people consistently do that every single day, that's incredible. That's creating that habit, because most people, like we were saying, once we get started, we're working away. Like I'll sit in bed and I'll work and work and work. And I'm like, shoot. And you just get down that rabbit hole. So for me, I get up in the morning, I get up really early. I do a Bible study. It's through the Word. I absolutely love it with a couple of other people. It's the first thing I do the Bible, my daily devotions. And if I don't do those first, and I happen to open up Facebook or check something, I go down that rabbit hole. And it's like, I'm late. I'm late. So all I'm saying is whatever that first thing is, you schedule it. And I will tell you, schedule a workout for yourself like it is your job. Well, hello, I missed an opportunity. I missed an opportunity to let somebody in. Schedule your workout like it's your job. Today might have been on your calendar. You might have an appointment tomorrow. That's going to be on your calendar. Why are you not important to be on your calendar? I do not understand that. I do not. People will tell me, well, I have so-and-so coming to my house at this time. Okay. I schedule everything after like from noon on. That's when I take clients because I teach my classes in the morning. I put myself first. I do those things. I get up extra early to do all that. But then I start taking calls. And it's like, if I know I have a doctor's appointment, I can come at 2:00. I can come at 1:00. You can schedule things around you. Make that appointment for yourself. Please, that's the biggest thing, the common challenge. So that's, we did a fun little thing before, but I want to turn the pages of everything. So we talked all about fitness and functionality, why you can age backwards. So I'm going to share a little bit, and I did get Jen's permission. Okay. Talking about the physical aspect, there's a big mental aspect to this. So while I want people to keep moving and I want people to keep exercising and I want them to stay physically active because there's a need for it and there's functional training for that, I always start people on not necessarily working out because they tell me, it's like, Kim, I missed my workout today, which I'm like, shame on you. But I'm like, I don't care. Tell me what you ate. Tell me what you ate. So I'm going to just ask you guys by show of hands. How many people have sugar cravings? How many people have short temper? Depression? Anxiety? Stress? Gas? Sorry, gotta ask. IBS? Constipation sometimes? Bloating? Soreness?
What was that one?
Soreness? Headaches? Okay. Waking at 2 or 4 a.m. Okay. These are all signs of toxicity in your body. Okay. So I'm going to tell you some things. You need 3 things to survive: air, food, water. All 3 of those are filled with toxins. Okay. We are exposed to 700,000 toxins every day. 64% are absorbed through your skin. It's incredible.
What is that number again?
64%. We have over 50, I think it was million, that's struggling with regular bowel movements. So many people cannot poop. And I talk about poop very, very openly now. I never thought I would do that, but I do, but I never realized the toxicity in people. So I really start people on the inside out. And the reason that I'm bringing this to your attention is when your body's toxic, you want to get rid of those toxins. And what is a toxin? Well, anything that's plastic, touching it, anything that is artificial. Let's think sucralose. Let's think sweeteners. Okay. Anything that's a seed oil is highly inflammatory. What is a seed oil? Safflower, sunflower, soybean oil. These are in every product. I bet you if we read anything back there, it's in everything. I talk to people about reading ingredient labels because I think it's really, really important. If we can go back to basics and live in the wilderness and eat real food, that's what we need to do. But what are we? We're the Costco people. I was the Costco family. I ate everything from box and convenience food. Oh, you want chicken nuggets and fries? Okay. I threw that in the oven. And that's all pretend food. It is just pretend. And it's wreaking havoc. And I never knew how much. So we talk about, and Jen, I think that was the very first thing. A couple of things that Jen did. And you're okay, let's share this, right? All right. So a couple of things that Jen did when she reached out and said, okay, tell me about all this stuff that you do. Of course, I want her to work out. And of course, I have workouts. And of course, I'd love to have her. But the first thing that I started her on is, let's do a DNA test. And let's look at doing a detox. So a DNA test is a HIPAA compliant test, medical grade test that she does at her home. And it's a cheek swab. And what it's going to tell her And what it told her is it gave her a 46-page report all about her. And it said, Jen, this is how you need to work out. Because if we don't have time and we're not even putting ourselves on the calendar, why are we going to the gym or trying to find time to go to the gym to do a workout that may or may not be benefiting us? And oh, by the way, we're doing the wrong workout. I told you I started when I was 17. When I did my DNA, I said, oh, shit, I've been doing it all wrong. I'm the fitness queen, right? I'm aerobic queen. I was doing it all wrong. I had to change what I was doing because I am now a mom, a wife, a mother, and my lifestyle is crazy. Why am I busting my butt doing all the wrong workouts, right? And why should I do that with my clients? So that's why I suggest to have them do a DNA. Tells her how efficient she is at burning fat. But the one thing that I want to talk about and what it exposed for her was this MTHFR. And I'm just going to flash this because I want you to see, because that looks like a dirty word. And don't block the road. Looks like a dirty word.
Well, we're sitting in naughty me. So
That's right. Okay, so you probably don't know what this is, and it looks like a dirty word, but this is a super gene, and it's responsible for processing over 200 cells of your body. Think of it as a circuit breaker for your body. So it really helps your body methylate some of your B vitamins. B vitamins are going to give you energy, right? So you have your B6, your B9, your B12. But the other thing, it also helps get rid of toxins. Okay. So what was discovered, and I knew about your father, right? Does he have Alzheimer's?
Yes.
Yes. Her father has Alzheimer's. And I wanted to talk to her about this MTHFR. And I brought her report, and you guys can look at this after. I asked her if I could share this. This is just one section of the 46-page report. This is all on MTHFR. And I'm going to read to you, just like Jen read to us, a couple of things. Oh my goodness, I don't have my glasses. They're back there. But first of all, 50% of people, no, they're back there. I just don't have them because that would have been dumb to bring my glasses up. 50% of people have this MTHFR variant. So when you have MTHFR, you have variants. So like part of your circuit breaker might be wonky or off. 50% of people have this. So it's not like you're unique. You are unique, but there are a lot of people out there, but they're not aware and they don't know what to do. So 50% carry this. They carry some type of variant on their gene. This is their DNA switch. So it switches on your genes, epigenetics. It assists your body in the expulsion of toxic chemicals through detoxification and numerous other important functions. Okay. So what happened with Jen is she has 2 variants on this, not 1, but 2. And what she needs to understand is, what does this mean? So for her, she needs to be really, really diligent in the foods that she eats and really watching some of this processed foods, looking at labels that have folic acid in them, making sure. And folic acid, again, when we're saying looking for synthetics or for artificial, folic acid is artificial. They created this because they saw a need that people need folate. People need folate that are having neural tubal defects, miscarriages, people that are having issues and struggles with dementia, all this. They realize that, oh, folate, people need folate. So they created it for us. And now it's in like all, like your crackers, your bread, you read it. You read folic acid on everything. What it is pretend. What it does to somebody like Jen or somebody that has this variant, it builds up in their system and it wreaks havoc on their system. So it's like, this is like a good sign. It's like, stay away from this. What Jen needs is folate, and folate that's already broken down because her body can't break it down. So she needs one that's called methylated folate. And it's like, this is what she needs. So let me just tell you a couple of things. Anybody that has this is usually associated with a deficiency of B6, B12, and folate. Research has linked it to the damage of lining of arteries and other cells of your body. Some symptoms, so just listen to this and see if this resonates. Some symptoms can vary from person to person, but common signs are fatigue, tingling sensations in extremities, muscle weakness, confusion, forgetfulness, dizziness, mood changes, and reduced immune function. So that's some. So what if Jen says, okay, whatever, so what? Okay, I'm not going to do anything about it. Here's complications from that. osteoporosis, arthrosclerosis, so this is a buildup of fats and other substances in the artery walls. So if you know of anybody with heart issues, right, this is a good sign. Thrombosis, blood clots, and blood vessels. I have some young friends that are experiencing that. Coronary artery disease, stroke, dementia, and Alzheimer's. And because this was a gene, and because I knew about her father, I'm like, okay, we need to take a look at this. I also heard her story, and I knew she had this mental breakdown. I'm like, I wonder if she has this. You don't know. It's proved out. She did. She had a double variant. It was a whole, okay, game changer, right? So game on. This is what you need to do. Couple of other things real quick. So she has an 80% loss of function in the way her body detoxes. And again, your body is really cool and it protects itself. So it's going to take these things that it doesn't recognize and it just kind of embeds it in fat. So a lot of this fluffiness that people see and the bloatedness, you think about it, it's because of all this fake food and all of this stuff that's all around. People are walking away. You can just pop them with a pin. I can see when they're bloated. So a couple of things for you, Jen.
Thanks,
I'm
Mom.
gonna be very raw on this one. Of all the possible combinations of mutations, okay, what she has is the most severe or at risk. Okay. So it's just really crucial. It's going to play a role in her serotonin and happy hormone, her anxiety, her fear. We talked about what it does as far as birth. So a lot of people that are young, my audience is not a lot of young guns, but I would tell you if you have your own grandkids or somebody else like kids having kids or anybody that you know that is struggling with fertility, I would highly advise them to do this test to find out if they have this. I have clients now that said, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I struggled for years and they had endometriosis, all of these things. And so now the first thing they've done is they're getting their kids checked. What can you do? You can never change it. It is what it is. So Jen's going to have this. But what she does about it is, what needs to be done. And that's going to be supplementation, changing her diet and the lifestyle. So I really, like I said, I wasn't expecting to go down this whole road because my whole point was really to be on exercising and the importance of it. But I really want you to understand that everything stems from your gut. And if you can get your gut right, you automatically will start feeling better, that you're going to want to move a little bit more. But on the other note, is just the seriousness that this ties to for a lot of mental disorders. There's studies, real life studies out there that are linked, and she has all of this in the resource that will link it back to true case studies on this. So your mood disorders. And the other thing that happens is her vitamins that maybe she did or did not take, or she already has low vitamins, or maybe her body says, hey, I can metabolize these vitamins, it's fine. You have one of these mutations, it just sinks it down, even lower. Or if it was low, well, now it's extremely low. My husband also has compound mutation. What's interesting about that, or shouldn't say interesting, but true part of another leg of my story is my husband's grandfather suffered with depression. And I did not know this, and I did not know him at the time, but he had attempted and had suicidal things. My father-in-law also suffered from depression. He was a prominent lawyer. He was state bar president. Very successful man. Never knew he struggled with depression. And in 2002, he took his life. And this, for me, was something that I told my husband. So again, when we talk about drinking and alcohol and how to unwind, I know alcohol is depressant. And I was very fearful of my own kids. And I told my husband, now we might cry. I told my husband, you need to learn and understand how to control this, because we have 2 young boys. And again, we want to lead life by example. And we need to know, how do we prevent this? And how do you not go down that path? So at that point, it was, I think, 2007. I threw out every alcohol in our house. It's like done, completely done. We didn't drink at all because I was very afraid And then we started focusing again on food and nutrition. That came along a little bit later. And then when we did the DNA test in 2019, that's when we discovered it. It was like, oh my gosh, this is a link to everything. So you bet your bottom dollar, my kids have been tested as well. And we want to make sure that they are properly handling and managing their life so that we don't go down that road. But with that, like I said, there was many different legs of this, but I really want you to understand there's the external aspect of this, but there's also the internal, and everything stems from the gut. And I know when I was in Sarasnet, right, and I was talking and I was sharing my story, I was supposed to be just the fitness person. And I said, I can't just be the fitness person because they go hand in hand and everything stems from the gut. So that's a little bit about a long story about Emerge Fitness and what I do. And Jennifer, I'm saying hi to you. And the other part with Jennifer, so she has Scent with Love, and you need to hear her story sometime, but they have a box of goodness that they will send kids. And these are cancer patients. She works with Mott's Hospital. I heard her story, and with my son living his life in and out of hospitals, I said, I love what you're doing, and I want to do that. So my husband and I are going to be trying our snowbird wings in Florida, and that's where my son's surgeon is in the hospital. And I want to join forces with her because I want to empower the moms to be strong and make it through what I went through, because I will tell you, that makes me cry. That was the hardest thing I ever did. Oh, and caring for my mom right now, it takes me back. I thought, oh, PTSD, man, I'm seeing it. Wow, it's hard. That was the hardest thing, to see your son in pain. That was just game changer. And how can I put myself first, right? Because I was putting him first. So I really want to pour into the moms and the families there, because we have families moving from all over the world there, and they're disjointed and displaced, and it affects everything. So I want to do that, but also the Scent with Love, the care packages that they send out to the kids. Those poor kids, they need it. So so I'm happy to have Jen on, and I'm happy to I can't wait to get in Florida so that I can lock arms with her and start pouring into some people in Florida. But with that, I'm going to end it. But do you guys have any questions? You can check out all the stuff on the goods on Jen, but I have it all here with her permission. But do you have any questions? Is that yes, ma'am.
So if people really do want to get educated in a comprehensive way, step one would be to do their DNA test and then go over that report with you.
It's simple to do, and it does not take a lot of time. And I know for you, I remember you realized after she finally did it, she's like, oh my God, it took like 5 minutes. I'm like, I know, right? It does not take long. The long part is the waiting, because it goes to a testing lab, and that lab is, the company searched to look for somebody that would take 15 years. It took them 15 years to find a company that would not share your data. So anybody that is on Ancestry, Me23 and me and all that Ancestry.com stuff, if you've seen any of the breaches on your data breaches, it's a real thing, because they sell your information. This company will not sell your information. Matter of fact, it's destroyed.
Who are you guys using? DNA Fit, or who are you?
No, it's Molecular Lab.
Molecular Lab.
So it's a company, I believe it's based out of Texas, and you send it in. But I tell you what, my name is Kimberly, and if I sign Kim, but I registered under Kimberly, they will not process it, and they will call. I will not get the report. It goes right to you, so your information is not shared. So a lot of people said, I sent it in, and like, I got my report. Did you see it? And it's like, no, I did not see. I mean, I can't see anything.
You do have an affiliate partnership.
Yeah, but
But-
so people could reach out, because I mean, some people will reach out and say, what the heck does all this mean? I will show you. This is your DNA report. This one is not yours. This one is mine. But that is your report that you get. It's like, what the heck does all this
Very
mean?
comprehensive.
And that's when it's like, okay, I actually take it and I put it in something which creates another big report, but this one you can understand. And this is a piece of that. And it will just say in layman's terms, like, for example,
So your report like digests the more detail.
Yeah, because it was hard, because I spent hours on the phone. Like when I first started, I spent hours on the phone explaining this to people, and they would take notes. This one, I mean, it's so easy. It's like, your genes are on fire. What does that mean? It means you have a high risk of inflammation. this is what you need to do. And if you watch the news lately, they're talking about inflammation and, oh, these omega-6 fats, how they're really bad. And there's the seed oils. They just did a whole thing on it. I'm like, huh, I found that out in 2019. Didn't know. So a lot of things that you don't know what you don't know. And I think that the biggest thing that I like about this is I'm not going to promise anybody, like for you, when you said, whoever signs up with you, it's a work program. Be prepared to work. And that's what it is. If you want lifestyle changes, things that are going to change and be sustainable, this is a lifestyle change. If you're looking for that fad diet, you're barking up the wrong tree. That's not me. That's not me. Because you'll achieve those goals, but you will not be able to sustain them. You actually have to change your behavior. And again, your DNA is your DNA. You get what you get, whether like it or not. But through epigenetics and through changing these things, you'll get sustainable results.
So Emerge Fitness is your exercise leg of what you do, and ID Life is the company you are affiliated with for the supplements.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, so the two go hand in hand. I found this as a great means, again, for my Emerge Fitness. So when I launched the business in 2017, it was my business manager or consultant. She says, you need to look at this DNA thing, because she knew my journey of jumping through hoops to try to get to where I was to get that transformation and all of that. And I thought, oh my gosh, that would have saved me a lot of time. And it gives me safety. And I know when you talk about, you have to be careful of what you say and suggest for people, correct? Because we never want to recommend, well, with this company, this really is your assessment. It's all based on facts and science. And, you can go out and do this and it will give you suggestions that I come alongside to help you hit those goals. But it really isn't Kim Lenga saying that you need omega-6 or whatever, it's going to be based on your assessment, your DNA.
Each person you're working with.
100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. So there's no cookie cutter. I mean, the supplements I take are totally different than my husband's. I mean, I take menopause support. He takes prostate support. I mean, two different things.
I'll get those two mixed up.
Well, yeah, we have.
Oh my
So-
goodness, so good.
So, any other questions?
For the folks who are getting the Zoom recording, can you just shout out loud your contact information, how people can get a hold of you?
You're so good because I forget. Yes, I can. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me and find out more information, you can text me at 810, what is it? 644-1240 or kim@emergefitness.net. That is my email. And you can check me out online. My website is emergefitness.net. And my website is going through a whole.
Hey.
So.
Yay. That's kind of stop that from recording.
Thanks for coming, guys. We need to turn off our Zoom now. Get a hold of Kim, get a hold of me. Dawn is going to be doing hers off camera, but she's amazing as well. Thanks.